Okay, so tomorrow you have a test. The test is going to cover lessons 9.2, 9.4, and 9.5. You're going to have 4 questions from 9.2. You're going to have 4 questions from 9.4, which we just checked, and then 3 from 9.5. So a total of 11 questions. So the first 4 from 9.2, so the first 1 through 4, the instructions are going to say solve using substitution. You must show this method. Then questions 5 through 11 it's going to say solve by using adding and subtracting. So again, what you'll do is you'll make either the x term or the y term or one of the variables have the same numbers but opposite signs, and then you will add them. Now, if you are subtracting the equations, just remember you need to subtract all 3 terms. So from 9.2, if you've done the homework, those are what the questions look like. You will also have a fraction question so from 9.2, the homework that you did, questions number 17 and 18. So you will have a fraction question from 9.2. So for example, from 9.2, number 17 look like this. And I know I'll do number 18 because I think I did 17 yesterday. So y over 2 minus x equals 1. And then here we have x plus y plus 7. Now, all of the questions in 1 through 4 will be given to you in standard form. But keep in mind, if it's not in standard form, you need to fix it. So, for example, on my second equation here, I need to move the 7 over. So when I work with this, it needs to look like this if I wanted to line it up and do like addition and subtraction. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve my first equation for y, and I'm going to get rid of the fraction by multiplying my whole equation by 2. So when I multiply it by 2, now I get 2y minus 2x equals 2. I'm clearing the fraction first, and then now my other equation was this. And again, this method says substitution. So now what I'm going to do is always look for the one that doesn't have a number in front of the variable. So that way we don't have to work with a fraction when we solve this. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this equation for either x or y. It doesn't matter. So if I solve it for x, I would move the y over. X equals negative y minus 7. I now take what x equals, and I'm going to plug it in to this one where I cleared the fraction. Now, you don't have to clear the fraction. It just makes things a little bit easier. So 2y minus 2 times negative y minus 7. Distribute the negative 2. So 2y. Okay, so I'm going to distribute. Let me fix this too. So I will distribute the negative 2. So this will become a positive 2y, a positive 14 equals 2. Add those. 4y plus 14. Move the 14. And then we would 4y equals negative 12. Divide. And y equals negative 3. Then plug it back into one of the originals. Doesn't matter which. So be able to work with these fractions and clear it if necessary. So again, 4 questions from 9.2. Again, all of them will be in standard form. I know the beginning part of 9.2's homework, you did have some that were already solved for x or y. However, all of the questions that you're going to get are going to be like x plus y equals a number, both equations. So you'll have to solve one of them for either x or y. And it's always easier to choose the variable that doesn't have a coefficient, that has a coefficient of 1 or -1. Then from 9.4, again, you're going to have questions where it's already set for you. So this is what we just checked. So you might get questions where you don't have to do anything. You're just going to add the two equations. So for example, let's say we have x plus y equals 7, x minus y equals 3. Notice my y's are already set to cancel when I add the two equations. 2x equals 10, divide, x equals 5, plug it back in to one of them to get your y. So some will already be set for you. Some of them from 9.4, you may have to either, if you're going to use the subtraction method, or multiply by the -1. Again, I like to multiply one of my equations by -1, so that way one of the variables will cancel. So if I multiply this one by -1, this becomes -3c minus 5d, -17. Now I don't have to worry about any keep flip changes. I'm just going to add these two up. This cancels. 3d equals -12, divide, d equals -4, plug it back in to get the other variable. So that was 9.4. Now, in tonight's homework, 9.5, this is where we're going to have to multiply the equation by something other than a -1 to get it to cancel. So for example, from 9.5, you're going to have 3 questions. And again, let's say you have 3a plus 5b equals 3, and a plus 2b equals 13. So let's say I wanted to clear the letter a. What I can do is multiply my second equation by -3, and then that will give me my a terms to cancel. So again, remember to multiply to all 3 terms. So -6b and -39. Now I can take this one and add it to the one that I just modified. The a's cancel. I get -1b equals -36, and then I can divide and get b equals +36, and then plug it back in. Now, you may get a question where you're going to have to multiply both equations, so that way it would become an LCM, and then they would cancel. So 11 questions. Again, after you solve them, I highly recommend you take that order pair and plug it back in to both equations. If it's not working out and you're not getting a true statement, remember you've done something wrong and you need to start all over again. Okay, so 11 questions tomorrow. What you can do now is work on your 9.5 homework, and if you have questions, let me know. If you find you have questions tonight, you can email me. That's it. Any questions? Also keep in mind the answers will be fractions. They may not be pretty fractions. They may be kind of big and ugly, so keep in mind anything goes.